morning, everyone. I'm Robert Pettit. I'm the proud principal of the STEM Innovation Academy of the Oranges, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to our official ribbon-cutting ceremony. This has been a long time in the making, and we've had quite a journey, but we can't tell you how happy we are to finally be here in our home. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the efforts of many people in this room. From Superintendent Lee, who had the vision and documented it in the strategic plan, for Dr. Paula Howard for supporting the vision from inception to completion, from the Board of Education President, Mr. Carter, and all board members for also supporting it from inception to completion, cabinet members and principals for being collaborative partners in creating the foundation of what this school would become, for the mayor, Warren, and city council members for ensuring that things ran smoothly, for Ms. Gail Vilax, president of the Orange Education Foundation, and all its members for purchasing, let's give it up for them, they purchased this building. The former Mary Lawn building, now the STEM Innovation Academy of the Oranges. Thank you to the Orange Education Foundation. Also, Dr. Fadi Deek, Provost NJIT, and Dr. Jacqueline Cusack, Executive Director, Pre-College Programs. This is the partnership that's ensuring that our students by 12th grade can graduate with up to 40 college credits. And we really thank them for supporting this vision. Also represented here are our partners at PTLW, Project Lead the Way, which is the curriculum for most of our engineering programs, so let's give it up for them. Members of our STEM Advisory Board that keep us moving forward in a positive direction, in the direction that we want to take this school. And finally, our parents who invested in the vision, invested in their children, because without the parents, there'd be no children, and without no children, there'd be no school. So give it up to our parents. And the entire city of Orange for just supporting this initiative. We appreciate everyone involved in making this school a reality. Our collective efforts have truly paid off for the needs of our students. At this time, I would like to introduce one of our STEM students, Ms. Michelle Alexander, who will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Please stand. Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Cassandra Dawson. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the Now we have Carlos Gomez with our school narrative.
Good morning. The STEM Innovation Academy of the Oranges encompasses the dualities of rigor and collaborative working relationships, results, and respect. We have one common intellectual mission: to ready students for college success via exposure to deeper learning environments that strategically focus on the individual needs of all students. This focus is supported by the belief in all students' abilities and is reflective of high expectation. This allows us to strike a seamless balance between striving and supporting, demanding performance with purpose, systematically engaging students as scientists, authors, creators, inventors, collaborators, and problem solvers. This is a complex shift in mindset in which the STEM Innovation Academy community embraces, takes ownership of, and subscribes.
It gives me great pleasure at this time to present the visionary and driving force behind the STEM Innovation Academy of the Oranges, the myth, the man, the legend, Ronald Seeley. You need to stand up. We got to give it up. There's a big deal here.
Oh, sit down. Good morning. Myth. Wow. This is obviously a proud moment for the district. Last week or the week before, when we received finally the CO for this building, but more importantly, this has been a long journey, and obviously this journey could not be done without the help of a lot of individuals and organizations. I know Mr. Pettit thanked a lot of the organizations, but I would be remiss if I didn't do so as well, because it was, sitting down and planning and talking to the various organizations and seeing their commitment to this vision was really what makes this happen today. Obviously, my first is the members of the Board of Education. And I just need to make sure that everyone is clear that both past and current members have been supportive of all of the visions that we have had for our district. And so I want to, please let's recognize them. I know Mr. Card is here. I saw Mr. Wingfield. I don't know of any other, Ms. Mateo is here. Very supportive. So let's give them a round of applause. Because we know that no matter who the leader is of a school district, if they don't have the support of the Board of Education, it's not going to get done. And so they have always been willing to listen, to follow and support, and I want to congratulate them and really thank them for that. Additionally, Mr. Pettit named the Orange Education Foundation. They have been a partner in many of our projects and visions. This school being one, the preschool that we opened up on Park Avenue, and obviously our Scholars Academy, which we also have where our gifted program is. And so I see Ms. Velox and Ms. Barbara Clark, so I want to recognize them as well. And who else? Who? Oh, and Ms. Pat Arthur. Okay, Ms. Pat Arthur was on the past Board of Education members. I'm sorry, Ms. Arthur. She would kill me. She's probably still going to kill me. Those of you who know Pat know she's going to kill me. And so she was a supportive board member, but she is now on the Orange Education Foundation and serves as well, so I want to recognize her as well. And then we have, obviously, Mayor Warren, and he'll come up later, but So I got to tell this funny story, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind. So about 8 years ago, or when I first became superintendent, the Nicholson Foundation, which I had worked with in Newark, came to me and says, hey, we got a nice program that I think you'd be interested in, we're willing to fund, and that was with NJIT. And at the meeting, and he's not here, he said he couldn't come, was Professor Algebari. And he runs the, what we call RWC, with Real World Connection, and they were willing to fund some of our students going. And before the meeting started, in my usual way, I said, before you put your proposal on the table, I have a proposal for you. And they said, what was it? And I said at that time that I wanted to create a mini NJIT at Orange High School. And they took a step back and they said, what? And I talked about what that vision could be at the time. For several years, I met with, I went with a provost, not Mr. D, and had meetings at NJIT, and it was a slow process, but when things are going to, nothing comes quick. Sometimes it takes time, you have to be patient. So then, sitting down in the district, and then one year we were doing a budget, we were putting together a bond. I said, Mr. James, let's throw some money in a bond. We came to this building, Mary Lawn, probably about 5-6 years ago. And it was for sale at the time. And at the time, everyone was asking who I was talking to, like, can you open up a school in another district? And I said, there's nothing in the law that prohibits that, but I called 3 different lawyers, to make sure that I was getting the proper answer. But before we stepped foot in another district, we did reach out to the then South Orange superintendent. I had a conversation with him, and at the time he said he wasn't interested. At that time, Seton Hall beat us out in pursuit of the building. But God works in mysterious ways. It didn't work out, it fell through. The sisters who owned the building then called us and said, are you still interested in the building? I said, yes. That's when Mr. James and I put some money in a bond. We were calling for a bond meeting. Now, when we were type 1, because we recently just changed to type 2, when we were type 1, we have to go through a board of school estimate. So Mr. James and I was calling for a meeting. And the mayor was busy, he was busy. Then one day, one of his representatives was in my office and says, the Mayor Warren is interested in opening up a STEM building, STEM school. And I said, if Mayor Warren calls the meeting that we're trying to have for that, we have money in the bond for that. He went back, in about probably 2 or 3 days, the meeting was set up. And we didn't put the money in the bond, but we worked out some other ways, and he was instrumental in that. And so this is where we are today. Now, when we had the vision for the school, we didn't know exactly what we wanted. Dr. Tina Powell, I have to recognize Dr. Tina Powell. Now, I don't care what you do and what organization you run. If you don't have good people, it's not going to get done. I have some very good, talented people in this district. From my deputy superintendent down through my teachers and even the custodial staff who keep our building spotless. They really care. And usually when I have certain projects and or visions, I try to pick a team to put together. So anyway, Dr. Powell took it and ran with it. And anybody that knows Dr. Powell, she's very meticulous. But what she did was she and I talked about we need to do some visits to some schools. So we did visit quite a few schools. I visited 3. She visited probably about 5. Many of them were regional schools, One was the top school in the country. The other one was the third school in New Jersey, as far as STEM was concerned. And then we visited P-Tech in Brooklyn, which had a model which was an early college model, and they had, because Mike Bloomberg, the mayor at the time, he was very supportive of giving students an opportunity to engage in college readiness programs, but he connected it to industry as well as to college. And so we thought that was very the right model for us, and so we continue to work that through and tweak. And then we look for our college partner. And I told you that 8 years ago or so, when I first became superintendent, we started the relationship with NJIT. We used to send we still send students every Saturday to NJIT for the Real World Connections. A great friend of the district, Ms. Jackie Cusack, who you'll hear from later, heard about the vision. She set up meetings with the provost, and which until I actually saw the film, didn't realize even President Bloom was really on board with this pilot to engage students in their last 2 years in the curriculum of NJIT and get 40 credits. And actually, when we went to the meeting, you know, we were just looking, hey, we just want a couple of credits, a couple of classes, da-da-da-da. Provost Lee threw on the table, why are we limiting ourselves to that? We think, and we could probably, if the students, pass the classes, that we could provide them with 40 credits. He threw that on the table. We gladly accepted. So, and we're going to ask, I know he's not on the agenda, I hope he come up and say a few words, but let's give NJIT a round of applause. Now, being neighborly, and I know some have heard and, what rumors or whatever, we did offer South Orange because, hey, we're in their town, we want to be neighborly. We did offer that some students can be accepted. The Board of Education passed a resolution, and this is through negotiations with, actually now their former superintendent, 10 students, up to 10 students, with some financial arrangements for some, but I'm not going to go into that. And so this school is open to at least 10 students, and we will continue, I believe, to keep that agreement. We also had, offers from other neighboring districts. So there are a lot of people excited about this school and this program. And so let me continue go through our list because I don't really want to be long. The City Council, I want to thank as well. Facilities Committee, we meet every month, and they've been instrumental in the vision as well. Obviously, the citizens of Orange, because they've been very supportive of this. I do see the Essex County Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Joe Zara. Joe, stand up. Stand up, Joe. Come on. People need to know who you are. All right, stand up. Joe has been very supportive of the district and me personally, and so I want to thank him for that. I cannot go and look. He's on his phone. He's going to miss his moment. You're going to miss your moment, Mr. James. Look at it. He's on the phone. Everybody look at him. Say, Mr. James. Everybody yell at Mr. James. I don't think Mr. James has slept in over a year. Really trying to get this building up to code, dealing with contractors and everything else. This man is dedicated to the children of Orange and to this district. And when I say he put in hours, I'm talking about Saturday, Sunday. So let's give him a round of applause. PCI, who is our maintenance and custodial again, they keep our schools spotless in the district, and they did a job in painting and getting this building ready, so I want to thank them as well. My advisory board members for the school. So there is an advisory board that's made up of industry and professionals to give us some guidance and give us some, some input. Matter of fact, some of them are administrators in STEM or vocational schools in other school districts. And so their input has been very valuable to us. When we were building this model, we also met with industry as well. And because we wanted to know from industry, what is it that we need to prepare our students for? And there were three major things that they kept harping on. They said workers and students need to be able to problem solve. They need to be analytical, and they need to work collaboratively in groups. Those were the three things they kept pushing. American students or students, they need to be able to problem solve. When an issue comes on the table, they need to be able to work together, analyze it, and come up with a solution. And so we're thankful for them. So this school has, right now, currently, we have three majors. We have computing sciences, we have mechanical engineering, and biomedical engineering. So those are what the focus is of those students. And so we're just proud of that. But for those of you who don't know much about Orange and the Orange Public Schools, it's not just about this school. We have great other programs in schools, at our high school. Although we know we need work as far as a number on a test. And I said number on the test. But our people and our young people can't always be defined by a number. We know in this country that there's a whole lot of successful people who probably couldn't get the number on the test. I venture to say, I don't know if I could get the number on the test. But we're not defined by numbers. We as humans and people, we are not defined by numbers. They're very, everyone comes with their unique talents, and it is up to us, the adults, but specifically in education, to offer opportunities to students and to help them find their gifts. That's what I believe in, and that's always been my charge. How do we help students find their gifts? Because often in communities like Orange, they don't have the opportunities to see what they can be. But we have to build the programs to do that, whether they're in visual and performing arts, and we've been a strong supporter of that, whether it's in the sciences, and we have robotics teams at every school. We run a robotics Lego League. We do academic competitions, spelling bee, Math 24, and Math 24, Joe, I want to talk to you about all the other superintendents so we can get together and have a county league so that we can compete against each other. And I wasn't at the last county roundtable, but I want to make sure that, give me the opportunity to bring that up because I do want to do that. We have dance conservatories. We created a gifted school. We have to challenge our most intelligent students. And so that's what we believe in. And so, I'm not going to be long enough because I'm going to wrap this up. But at the high school, we do have careers, pathways that are also connected to colleges and universities, and we're looking to expand that. And those pathways, in some of them, they get college credits, and others, they get a certificate. And so we will continue to expand our programming at Orange High School. The school, is growing and improving. They've been recognized. We were notified that for the second time in 8 years, the College AP Board put them on their recognition honor roll for expanding AP opportunities for our students, and we will continue to do that. Where's in fact, all my principals, please stand up who are here. Let me recognize them as well. They're doing we cannot move as a district without them and our teachers. And so Hayward Avenue School was just recognized by PLTW. So we just heard that last week. And so they're one of a few schools. As a matter of fact, we have a high school student, Taiwo. Is Taiwo in Washington now? Okay, he is each year, I guess, a congressional, I know I'm going to mess it up, but Senate invites 2 students from each state to come for a week to mingle with our politicians down there. Taiwo, who was an Orange High School student, was one of the 2 students recognized and given that honor for New Jersey. So y'all can clap for that too. So we have a couple of, now I'm just going to give you a little tidbit. You're going to start to see some messages around town that we're going to put up. Because I really don't think enough people in town know what we do. And so don't be surprised if you see a few messages. I also will be remiss, I don't know if the mayor was going to do it, but I'm going to, I know I see Councilwoman Ms. Eason here. I don't know if he was going to recognize the council people, but I don't want to steal your thunder, but Councilwoman Eason is here. I don't know if there are any other council people. All right. Just so I know, any of the advisory board members for this school, are they here? Please stand up. Advisory board members? Very good. All right. And staff, because I know they're going to say, you didn't recognize it. Staff, teachers, clerical, come on, stand up. Come on, don't be shy. And so my last, now I'm going to make a soapbox pitch. My last, Joe, keep your ears open. So, the Orange Public Schools was able to do this with collaboration from, and the funding from, obviously, working with the citizens of Orange. But just need to let you know, because I love to make sure that the citizens are, as much as we can, have enough knowledge about money and budget, because I hear a lot of them. And I'm hoping our new governor puts some money in our budget, because historically, over the last several years, the state went to fight for a funding formula, but under the former governor, he did not run the formula. But had the formula been run, or if he done that, Orange would have received an extra $13 million a year for the last 6 years, which aggregately is about $65 to $70 million a year. So I leave you with this question. What could we have done if we had that kind of money? Am I introduced to the next person? I'll introduce the next person. So the next person, again, he's a friend of the district, very supportive of us. Before I do that, if you don't mind, let me ask Essex County Superintendent Joe Zack, because I know he's tight. Joe, if you come up and say a few words.
Thank you. Good morning and congratulations. Anytime I receive an invitation from Mr. Lee, I make every effort to be at the event because it is always positive, it is always exciting, and most importantly, it's always about the students. We walked this building some time ago, and it didn't look anything even remotely similar to the way it looks today. It is a beautiful facility that will allow the Orange School District to maximize opportunities for students. All we hear and all we talk about is technology, college and career readiness, and preparing students for the future. What's most interesting to me is we're preparing them for a future that doesn't exist yet. We have no idea what the challenges and opportunities are, and if you think about how quickly the world is changing, dramatic changes every day. So I think the most positive thing I see right now is putting students in a position to succeed. And that is being done by the vision of Mr. Lee, and nothing occurs without a vision. The support of this community that values its students and does the hard work to make sure that they have what they need to succeed. So it's a pleasure being here. Congratulations to all of you. And I will tell you one thing about Mr. Lee. When he is not happy and needs more for his students, he is not shy about letting me know. And I always believe that all of us are smarter than one of us. So all the ideas in this room, all the knowledge, all the enthusiasm, all the experience does one simple thing. Again, it maximizes opportunities for students. So congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to you, Ron, and the best wishes for this building and everybody who's in it. Thank you.
All right. We'll bring to the table. Now, he is not a myth. He's real. We're going to bring up the Honorable Mayor Dwayne Warren. Thanks.
Good morning, good morning. Firstly, let me just thank all of you for being here, because this is a historic day. But this day could not happen, and funding could not happen, and our voices are just blowing in the wind if we don't have the support of my council colleagues, no one represented here today, Tensie Eason and the City Council of Orange Township. We should thank them every day because they had the vision to understand that it's not about dollars, it's not about bond money, but it's about our children. And so our investment on the government side was great. Thank you, City Council, for that. Thank you to Corbett, who was here from the city, but he was a former city council person, so we had his vote while he was council. To our City Hall staff, who is all here, Dr. Austin and Keith Pressey, and Greg is here, and I saw Godfrey somewhere. The City Council, the city employees have to work with our youth on a regular basis, especially in the summer and programming throughout the year, and it's because of that kind of exposure and that kind of outlet outside of the classroom that gives them some added value in their educational lives. So to the staff of City Hall, I appreciate all the work that you do on behalf of our children. To NJIT, we sat down very early on and thought that NJIT would be a good partner for us, and NJIT came in like the gangbusters and did more and above and beyond the call of duty, especially as we were going through the throes of getting this building done. And so from the bottom of my heart, as a mayor, it is great to have an institutional partner like NJIT, so we thank them for all they've done as well. I would also be remiss, Ron, if I didn't say thank you to Pat Arthur, who's a former board member, but is a constant person in my ear about what are we doing for children and advancing education, and anything that I have innovative about education, she tells me that they thought of it a long time ago. So thank you, Pat Arthur, for your input. I get an opportunity as the mayor to go in and out of schools on a very regular basis. My biggest critics My biggest criticism from teachers is that I walk into a calm learning environment and I leave an environment where a bunch of kids are excited and loud and have to get back under control. So to the teachers and the principals, excuse my intrusions, but thank you for accommodating me as I come into the classroom. All you do on behalf of children. To the school staff, thank you very much. They say in the Bible that how will they know unless they have a teacher? And how will they have a teacher unless he be sent? And certainly that embodies Ron Lee, a person who has a vision about education, a person who believes that we can strive as long as we want, but a person that believes that if our community gets involved, then our children can reach the heights of the heavens. Because in our community, we have everything from lawyers, doctors, engineers, scientists, teachers, janitors, mechanics, whatever you name, we have in our community. And I want to thank him for linking our children to our community. So let's give a big round of applause to our superintendent, Ron Lee. I personally and our city cannot do anything without the involvement and the ever-presence of our clergy. And thank you, Reverend Linnell Guyton, who serves with our police chaplains, who serves with our clergy board, to make sure that our students are grounded and always there in support of our activities. Reverend, thank you very much. So I'm connected to this building in a very special way. I went to Seton Hall Prep from 80 to 84 when it was on the campus down the road here. When I was there, Mary Lawn was an all-girls school, and Seton Hall was an all-boys school. And so we were encouraged to study together a lot, and encouraged to visit the libraries together a lot. And occasionally, once in a while, we had parties together as well. In this very room. And so I saw this school from what it was. I got a chance to tour this school after it had been closed. And this school is, if you toured this facility and the work that we've put in here and the innovations in this school, is a dynamic place and is a place certainly fitting for Orange students. But what this school doesn't recognize is boundaries. Obviously, physically, we are in another town. Nowhere else will you find a group of leaders on the city side and the education side to say, we see an opportunity and we're going to forge into another town and make an opportunity for our own children. They said it could not be done. They said we would never finish. They said, Ron, that we would never get a CO to occupy this place. They said we would never have a gym full of community supporters to come and witness the opening of the Orange STEM Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Orange STEM Academy. The other boundaries that we don't recognize are subject boundaries. Black children don't read. Black children aren't good at math. Black children don't like science. Black children don't aspire to be engineers. Black children don't aspire to do anything technical. We are on the outside of all of technology. Yes, we have our smartphones, and yes, we play video games, but we don't put science to use. Well, let me, with the class of students that will come through this school, debunk all of those myths. We love science, we achieve, we can do it. I don't know the percentage, Superintendent, but if you look at the percentage, I think you might see a tilt, boys versus girls. So if you don't think that there is girl power in science, just take a tour of our school and look into our classrooms. I say that because I think it's important, women in science, because women build a community, women lead households, and women lead their children to educational expectations and to cultural expectations. So women's place in the school and in the home is very important to me. And I am also hugely influenced by a woman who went to Science High School in Newark, New Jersey, and graduated and went to Tuskegee University and became an electrical engineer, left the electrical engineering field and became a doctor. All because she knew that women could go as far as they went in life. She was smart enough to marry a nice guy who she encouraged to become mayor of Orange. But I want to bring you greetings from my wife, because she is all about making sure that we achieve and that we are exposed to the sciences and the math. And she'll tell you all day that she may not have the best vocabulary in the world, but she could solve a problem, she could think through something, and she could take difficulty and make it easy. So I want to pay tribute to her and all of the women who are in the sciences and the maths, and make sure that our children know that this is not something that's impossible. And then I'd like to wrap up with what is the lasting commitment that we have to this school, to this institution, and to these children. We have to know that when we leave here today, we have to go back and think about what is my talent, where are my connections, and where can I plug these students in to make sure they're successful beyond today. That is what I would take back to the city. That is what I take back to my own home. I encourage all of you to take that back as well. I want to acknowledge the head of our NAACP here in the Oranges. Thank you, Brother President, for being here and for being a vocal voice for our children. So our task is, while we innovate, what can we do, how can we get involved, and how can we make sure that our children are successful over the long haul? Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Okay, at this time, I do see a colleague, Dr. Julie Glazer. Julie, stand up. Are there any other superintendents from other districts here? Julie used to work with us. So at this time, we want to bring up Dr. Jacqueline Cusack from NJIT to give a few words, if her voice will hold up.
Thank you, Mr. Good morning to everyone. I want you to know that I'm a lifelong, passionate educator who's worked with students from pre-K to postdoctoral levels. And I know that in this room, we're very well represented by a variety of passionate people who are not at all confused about what matters. We all know whom we serve, and those are our students in the middle. They drive every thought, every equation, every consideration that we could ever imagine, if we're truly serious about the agenda of advancing today, tomorrow, and their lifetimes. But it's driven by people. And I join with you in congratulating school leadership coupled with serious partners across this entire community who made it happen. People come to mind. I go back to 1984 when I was recruited by the president of NJIT, Dr. Joel Moon, to work at the State Department of Education. A couple names popped up in my life of 10 years ago. Ron Lincoln. So when you hear names that carry down through the years with proven records of commitment and demonstrable results for children, you know that when Mr. Lee and his support people, including Dr. Tina Powell, approached, you know to stop, listen, and consider. I've been very fortunate to have made right fund the Center for Agricultural Programs at NJIT that is supported by leadership that is committed and passionate. So when Dr. Tina Powell or Mr. Ronald approach and talk about proposals that will impact on the lives of students, I don't have to grumble. I don't have to beg. When I approach leadership at NJIT about needs for advancing partnerships, because the leadership at NJIT so truly identifies with the importance of what must be done for our students. They are already there. My case in point, the provost, the senior executive vice president of NJIT, is a parent. He and his wife have raised 3 students. 2 males, 1 female, who completed NJIT in 3 years. Dr. Fahmy is a case study in and of his own life. Came to this country knowing very little English as a young man. Entered NJIT, completed NJIT, made his way up the ranks because of his contributions, his ability, his talents took him there. Has served on the public district board of education, been on the government side to identify with issues such as those that we wrestle with in school communities. Has led the NJIT community in developing its 2020 vision, a strategic plan that includes considerations of diversity. So, when I need to advance a proposal to the provost, to the senior executive vice president, that's a non-issue. The questions I get, when, what do you need? And fundamentally, yes, let's make it happen. Because he is already there. And he too is supported by the president, who is already there. You talk about the gaps in students prepared to engage in STEM. NJIT is all around that and has done something about it and can talk about statistics that are rated by national standards. And I'm going to ask the provost and senior executive vice president, Dr. Fahmy, to speak to our accomplishments and what we intend to do in this continued partnership. Because I'm looking forward to receiving this class in 2021.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cusick, for being so generous to me. It's embarrassing, it's humbling. I truly appreciate it. We're so thrilled to have you at NJIT. Thank you. Superintendent Lee, on behalf of our president, Dr. Joel Bloom, NJIT is proud to be standing here with the Orange community, parents, staff, faculty, supervisors, principals, proud, honored,
but really thrilled for you that today is the realization of a bold, bold vision. And we are grateful. We are grateful that we were invited early on to participate. Yes, we have had a long-standing relationship, real-world connections, teacher training, summer program, and now this marvelous academy. But we are truly, truly thrilled that your students will be at NJIT in 2021. This bold move will afford the children of Orange the same opportunities the children of nearby districts and nearby counties and nearby states have. It is so important that your children, our children, and all children to be able to have access to such education is so important for the rising generation of this country. As we've heard so many times here in the news, chatting anywhere you go, STEM education is the key to improving all our lives. And we owe it to our children that they will have the same opportunities that we in the earlier generations have. That is the key for this country to remain competitive and for the next generation to do as well as we have. And NJIT wants to be helpful. We want to do more. We want to work with the energetic colleagues that Dr. Cusack named. I'll specifically name Dr. Tina Powell, who I met with her a number of times to talk about curriculum, but also so many others. So many others, it's a long list to name, that are within the school district that I know are capable to do the kinds of things that you envision and the kinds of things that we want to be helpful to you and the children of Orange. I was personally moved to invite you and to welcome you and your students to our campus when you ran into some delays here. It was a pleasure for me to remind your children that they've already been admitted to NJIT. They were there, that they will leave for only a few years and will come back as our freshmen, possibly even sophomore or higher, very, very soon. I thank you again for making us part of this marvelous vision.
Thank you. For those who don't know, because we weren't in this building for about 2.5, 3 months, our students were going every day down to NJIT. Their classes were held down there, and without hesitation, because we didn't know what we were going to do. We were wondering whether we had to hold off the students from the program because we didn't have a lot of space here. Without hesitation, NJIT says, sure, we'll let you use some of our classrooms down here. And so they were tremendous, but I thought it was a good thing that the students were able to every day go to a college campus and experience that and know what they had to prepare for. And so that was good, so I thank you for that. Going to do one or two modifications, and then we're going to start our tour, so I'm going to ask for some short remarks before I bring up my president. I'm going to ask Ms. Gail Vilax from the Orange Education Foundation to say a few words. You okay?
Very short, very short. Good morning. It is indeed my pleasure, and I'm sure the other members of the Orange Education Foundation, to welcome you here this morning. This has truly been a lengthy labor of love, but we are so delighted that we're able to be in this building now, and that our students are going to move forward and be the success that we know that they're going to be, because they're already a success because they're here. But one thing I want to mention is that we have an outstanding bridge program under the Orange Education Foundation, supervised by one of our trustees, Miss Barbara Clark. And I'm going to ask her to please stand because she's doing an outstanding job. Along with Dr. Harlem at Park Avenue School, taking students, first of all, teaching students the art of bridge, and taking students to various tournaments in Atlanta. The last year they went to Toronto, and coming away with many medals. Barbara, do you want to say something? Okay, she doesn't want to say anything. But again, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for your support.
And before we bring up our board president, I'm going to ask another person who's familiar to us, who's part of the vision and the work that we do. She's going to be upset I called her up, but Dr. Paula Howard, Deputy Superintendent. That's right. Everybody look at the face she's making. Look at the face she's making. Ask her to come on up and say a few words. Always be prepared.
Good morning, everyone. I live in South Orange, and I drive past this building every morning coming to work. And for months, I did a little prayer, Lord, please let this building open. And I'm going to tell you what, the day we finally got the message, I couldn't even get excited. It was like, thank you, God. So I am really so thankful for us to be able to be sitting here. But more importantly, I have to say, this was a community effort. Everyone that's sitting in this room is responsible for us being in this building. And I'll tell you what, all of those babies down that hall, they will represent us well because they're our generation. So, and I just have to say, Mr. James and Dr. Powell, unbelievable. All of the work that was put into this, and Mr. Lee, most of all, thank you for the vision. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, NJIT.
And then last but not least, again, couldn't do it without support from the Board of Education and our current board leader. Been asked him to come up and say a few, Mr. Lydell Carter. We have a competition on bow ties, as you can see, but you won today. I'm gonna give you that. You did win today. So Lydell Carter.
Thank you. So of course, you know, this is like the person who's standing in between lunch, all right? We're a few moments away from actually doing the tour of this building, which for me, I'm so excited to see so many folks in this room. And I hope, Joan, you get that reaction when people actually go into these spaces and see what we've done. But as I was listening to all the comments before coming up, I thought about this book that I read a couple of years called The Wisdom of Crowds. And the theme of that book, it merely focuses on the fact that the smartest person always benefits from everyone that sits with them. And what we are going to witness here today, all of you for the first time, is the wisdom of all the folks who came together, who collaborated, who acted as a coalition to make this dream a reality. I'm a person who likes to set aspirational goals. And I think that's the reason why Mr. Lee and I have been able to work in partnership so well together, along with the city administration, Dwayne Warren, who I've known now for years. Actually, it was the first person that my family met when we moved into Orange back in 2006. Our kids went to school together. And we've always talked about how do we retain the fabulous talent that's here? How do we ensure that our students have the opportunity to take advantage of three things that I've done my work around, to make sure that there's access, that there's awareness, and an opportunity for clean transition. And I think that's what this building is all about. Our young people are going to have the opportunity to have access to world-class education, an opportunity to have access to the opportunity to start gaining pre-college experiences while still in high school, which is so unique. The awareness building will be imbued throughout this entire process, and that we have this fabulous partnership. And Ron, I hope you heard that the folks from NJIT said they're looking to continue this partnership and look for more opportunities, because we have to take advantage of that. To have an institutional partner in this aspect is invaluable for young people. Let's be clear with the fact that this school and this town is black and is brown. And right now, the number of jobs that are being filled by folks of color in engineering, in computer science, is not where it needs to be. But the town has always been there, but the access hasn't been there. And it changes today. It changes with those 45 students that we have upstairs right now. And it's part of an aspirational goal. And where's my principal, right? Where's the principal? Is he still in this room? He might be somewhere. So part of the goal that I have as an expectation as a board president is that we have 100% graduation rate and 100% college matriculation after the next few years. I think that's an aspirational goal that this school can meet, and it serves as an opportunity for innovation for this entire township. This is the start of what we're going to do here. The feeling I had when I was sitting in the room is like, just look at what Orange can do. Mayor Warren, look at what Orange can do. And this is just the beginning of this process. I think everyone who collaborated in this, Mr. Lee, of course, we're going to continue to bump heads and make things happen and push each other. That's the way it should be in this position. We have to recognize Tina Powell and Mr. James. Please, everyone, you have to give them a hand. These are the folks that when you didn't see it, were doing the work every day, 2 hours a day, Mr. James, Ms. Powell, they were doing the work. And that's why we're here today. The faith-based community has been a counsel for all of us to ensure that we're doing the things that we need to do. Our city council partners, who I'm going to look to help support us in the other critical part of this school being successful, is how do we identify corporate and private partnerships? How do we make connections to the workforce to ensure that our students have the other skills they need to be successful once they leave us? And of course, the parents. This district will be nothing without our parents. This district will go nowhere without the support of our parents, and we're going to continue to make sure that all of what we're doing is being known, and we pull folks into this process. I thank you all. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Lee, and I'm not sure what our next step is, but thank you folks for being here.
Mr. Petty, come up a second. Okay, well, let me again thank each and every one of you and all of our partners and parents. And so now we're going to come to the exciting part of the agenda, which is the ribbon cutting and then a tour. And correct me if I'm wrong. I just need you next to me if I say something wrong. So what we're going to do is, obviously the students mainly, we're going to go outside to the front. There's a ribbon set up. Obviously, we let the students, the foundation, NJIT, the mayor, advisory board, we got to make sure they're in the picture. And I guess the photographer will move us from there. What we'll do from there is start the tour. We're going to do first a quick walking tour. I'm going to take you around the building, show you the property, bring you down through the downstairs. Now, what you see up here is only phase 1. We have 45 students. Downstairs is phase 2. We'll be working on downstairs next couple of months and over the summer. When we walk you through, I'll talk to you about what the vision is for down there. We're going to come back up here, and then the students are going to give you, if you choose to stay, they're going to give you the tour, walking through the classrooms. So, And so did I say anything wrong?
No.
Did I get everything?
You got it.
See, a good leader always listens to everybody else. They really tell me what to do. And so we're going to start that so that we can move to the front of the building. Is there anybody out there to show them where to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go out this door here, move toward the front of the.
We're going to start the tour. The tour starts with a tour of the grounds. When you come back in, we'll tour the facilities and we'll eat. Okay? All right. So everyone going on the tour, you're going to follow Mr. Lee?
Let me just get the group. Let me get my group together here. Hold on, hold on. Let me just make sure. Dr. Powell. Dr. Powell. Dr. Powell. Ask, is anybody else going? Because I'm about to leave. These folks want to be standing outside all this time. Okay. It's going to be a walking tour like you do on, but basically this building and its grounds is about 5 acres here. It consists of the school. There's a house here as well, and we'll talk about some plans that we might have for that. There's a tennis court on the other side, and so we'll go to, but I'm not going to walk you all the way over there because I know it's a little chilly out, so we're just going to walk you around, okay? Get everyone together. How are you doing? How's everything? Good. All right. So here's a house. It's an historic house. It does need some work inside. Some of the preliminary discussions is creating it as some housing for teachers as a teaching village, and so that maybe those teachers who may work here or within the district can come here. And also there's conversations about making it a community for community use. So we're leaning toward the teaching village. We're also having conversations with the town about creating some other housing for teachers so that we can attract teachers. And so we think that's a benefit that hopefully will help us attract the best. And we have some plans for here. And if you keep walking, I'll take you along about right here. So again, because we've been concentrating on getting this ready, we have, again, phase 2 and phase 3, but, the house is part of that. You can see to the south here is the tennis courts that are there. We have this space here. We're talking about maybe putting a greenhouse here and some outdoor learning spaces here. And so those are what, we hope to plan here. Obviously, it will depend on the sunlight and what we could do. Those of you know the district, we have a greenhouse at Orange High School. We also have one at, a little small one at Forest, and we're now going to be putting one at Oakwood Avenue School. So we're looking at what we can do with the space, but we're connected, want to connect this to our science classes. And so we're planning on building a greenhouse here. Right. Hey. We have sold some produce to local restaurants. So some of the things we had to do in this area was, create larger fire lanes for the fire to come in. That corridor that's by when you come out the gym was a dead-end corridor. So those stairwells, the exit stairs, we had to do that. We had to put some fencing and some concrete work in the front. So there was a lot of things that we had to do to bring the building up to code, and that's why it did take some time. And so now this floor here, we basically haven't touched, except there used to be an old green carpet on the floor, which we took that up. We retiled the floor. We put in new lighting. And the classrooms, we're not going to go into the classrooms because we're using some of it for storage now. But this downstairs will look totally different. But anybody who works with Dr. Powell, you know it'll look different than what it looks now. She's already, we're already working with the architect as to what we're going to do here, but we'll talk about what the classrooms will be used for, and then I will take you down the hallway, back up to the gym, and then the students will take you on a tour of the classrooms upstairs that they are learning in now. Next year. But so if you stick your head in the classrooms upstairs used to look like this. But we retiled the floor because, like I said, it was and we put in new bulbs. Phase 2 will include even more lighting and better lighting down here. So these were like, and the carpets that you see and everything, that's what the classrooms upstairs looked like before we made some renovations. Yeah, are there any former Mary Lawn folks here? No? No. So this classroom, and there's conversations about knocking actually this wall down and bringing it back. There are lockers upstairs. We do provide lockers for students. So, so this classroom is where our mechanical tools, where they're going to come and actually make things. And so that's in phase 2. And then down this hall, we're going to come. Are y'all beating us to the punch? All right. All right. Well, I'm going to show it to you. I mean, it's a cafeteria, but we're going to do some work here.
Beautiful cafeteria.
Yes. We haven't even ordered the furniture yet.
The lunch period will be delayed 30 minutes. We will have lunch at 11:30. And we will speak on during 4 seconds.
Now, let me let everybody come in because we're going to do some work in here as well. All right. What we did was we bought obviously some new equipment in the back. Here, we're going to change. This is just a temporary setup. We're actually going to make this more Starbucks-ish, I guess. And so we've ordered the furniture. Around some of the poles here, we might have high tables with stools where the kids can eat and do some things. And so we're going to do some different things for furnishings. Again, about 2 weeks ago, we just got the CO. I think Mr. James has already ordered the furniture. So we're going to be redesigning this area as well. And then we'll have some changes here.